Hello everyone and welcome back. I am Megakshi Rana, your mathematics teacher on Study Do, and today I will be teaching you all about chapter number 5 of class 8th mathematics, and the name of this chapter is data handling. So let's begin. First of all, what is data? Let's define data. You know that in our day-to-day life, we might come across information like runs made by a batsman in the last 10 test matches, number of wickets taken by a bowler in the last 10 ODIs, or marks scored by the students of our class in the mathematics unit test, or information like number of story books read by each of your friends. You come across such information day to day. The information collected in all such cases is called data. So what is data? All this information that is collected in all these cases that are listed here, all this information will be called as data. Data is usually collected in the context of a situation that we want to study. This is something about data. And what is data? Let's proceed. Now, data represented graphically. We are going to represent data now graphically. Sometimes data is represented graphically to give a clear idea of what it represents. So when we are showing or representing data graphically, then it gives a better and a clear idea of what we want to represent. The different types of graphs are pictographs, bar graphs, and double bar graphs. So we have three types of different graphs. What are those three different types? Those are the first one being pictographs, the other one is bar graph, and the third one is the double bar graph. This is one of the example how we can represent data graphically, in a graphical way. First of all, what is a pictograph? Let's study about pictograph first. So pictorial representation of data using symbols. What do? We represent pictorially data using symbols, with the help of symbols. So like this symbol, what does this signify? The symbol of this full car here, it means 100 cars, while this half car symbol means 1 by 2 of 100, that is 50 cars. Now July, you can see that July we are given 2.5 cars and it's written 250. Why? Because one car represents 100 cars and half one represents 50 cars. Therefore 2.5 cars will represent 250 cars. Similarly, in August we are given 3 cars, that is 300, and in September we are given 4 cars and we are given a question mark. We need to find that how many cars are there. So first part that we have here regarding this pictograph is the question that how many cars were produced in the month of July. So how many cars were produced in the month of July? How are we going to find it? We will go through this row. We'll check that July, here it is. July is given here. And how many cars are there in the month of July? There are given 2.5 cars. That means symbols are 2.5 cars. That means 250 cars. So the number of cars that were produced in the month of July are 250 cars. While in which month were maximum number of cars produced? Now we are asked that which is that month in which the maximum number of cars are produced. So in July these are 250, August these are 300. Now can you find that in September how many cars are produced? So this means 100 cars, this means 100 cars, this is 100 also, and this is again 100. So 100 4 times equals to 400. So we can see from this pictograph that maximum number of cars are produced in the month of September. So the answer of this part will be September. In the month of September, you can see that we have 400 cars being produced. So the maximum number of cars are produced in the month of September. This was something about a pictograph. Now we will proceed to a bar graph. What is a bar graph? First of all, a display of information using bars of uniform width. They will be having uniform width, their heights being proportional to the respective values. So such a display is known as a bar graph. When we display the information using bars, such bars that have equal width, all of these bars are having equal width, you can see, but their height depends on their respective values. So you can see that we are given this on the x-axis, we are given academic years, while on this y-axis we are given number of students in class 8. This is academic years, while this is the number of students in class 8, and this is our whole bar graph that represents the number of students in class 8 according to the academic years. Bar heights give the quantity for each category. Now, what are the heights of these bar graphs telling us? These are telling us about the quantity for each of the categories. Bar are of equal width with equal gaps in between. So, I've already told you that these bars will be of equal width and they will also have equal gap among each other. We can see that they are having equal gap among each other. Bar are of equal width with equal gaps in between all these bars. Now we are asked, first of all we are asked that what is the information given by the bar graph? What is the information that we are getting by this bar graph? So we can say that this bar graph represents the number of students in class 8 according to the provided academic years. Like in 2003, 2004, how many students were in class 8? In 2004 to 2005, how many students were in class 8? Similarly, in 2005 to 2006, 2006 to 2007, and 2007 2008, how many students? Total number of students that were in class 8. This is being represented by this bar graph. This is the information, right? Now, second part is, in which year is the increase in the number of students maximum? So, in which year is the increase in the student maximum? So, you can see maximum, which year? We are asked that in which year is the increase in the number of students maximum. So, can you find from here that which year shows the maximum increase in the number of students? First of all, in 2003 and 4 it was 100, and then in 2004-5 it became 200. From 100 to 200, here 200 to 250, and here 250 to 300, while again in the next session it was 300 to 350. So we can say that the maximum increase happened from 2003, 2004 to 2004, 2005, because earlier it was 100 and then it became to 200 students, while in all other, what is the increase in the number of students? It's 50 in all the other sessions, while in 2003-4 to 2004-5 it was an increase of 100 students. We can say from this year, the increase in the number of students, the maximum. What do we have next? We have the third part for the same question. In which year is the number of students maximum? Now we are not asked the increase in the number of students like the previous part, but we are asked that which is that year in which the number of students is the maximum. So you can see that the height represents the number of students. So the bar that will have the maximum height will be representing the maximum number of students. What is that bar? So you can see that 2007-2008 bar has the maximum height, and it represents how many students? It represents 350 total students in class 8. So we can say that this 2007-2008 bar shows the maximum number of students. So which is that year? 2007 to 2008 academic year. We have one more question, and it's we need to find that whether this given statement is true or false. So the statement is the number of students during 2005-2006 is twice that of 2003-2004. So how many students were there in 2003 and 4? There were 100. You can see that this height corresponds to this value. Means that there were, so you can see that 2003 and 2004, in 2003 and 2004, this bar represents this value, that is 100. The height matches to this value, that is 100. So we had 100 students in 2003 to 2004 session. While in 2005 and 2006, how many we have? We have 250. So is 250 twice of 100? No, we can say no. This is false. This is false. Why? Because in 2005-2006 there were 250 students, while in 2003 and 2004 there were 100 students. So this is not the twice that of 2003-2004. This is the answer of this bar graph. So this is how we solve the bar graph questions. The next type of the graph is double bar graph. So you can see that a bar graph. So now we have a double bar graph. We have the third one being a double bar graph. So just like the previous one, this is also a bar graph, but this is such a bar graph that shows two sets of data simultaneously. In a simple bar graph, we have only one set of data represented, but a double bar graph shows two sets of data simultaneously. You can see from here, blue color represents 2005-2006, while this orange color represents 2006 to 2007. It is useful for the comparison of the data. This double bar graph is more useful when we need to compare the data. So you can see that on the x-axis we are provided with the subjects, and what do we have on the y-axis? You can see that we have the marks obtained by a student. So these are the marks obtained by a student, while these are the subjects in which the marks are obtained. This blue represents 2005 to 2006 year, and the orange one represents 2006 to 2007. Now you can proceed. Just see the first question. It is written that what is the information given by the double bar graph? So I have already told you what is the information that is double bar graph provides us. This double bar graph provides the information of the marks obtained by a student in the subjects, in all these provided subjects in the year 2005, 2006 and 2006 and 2007. So this is what the information is provided by this double bar graph. We need to compare these 2 years. Next part is, in which subject has the performance improved the most? So we need to compare both these years, and we need to tell that which is that subject, which is the one of these subjects in which the performance of that student has improved the most. So the difference of the heights is telling us about the improvement. You can see that this has the same height, so there was no improvement in the performance, while here in 2006 and 2007 the performance was worse than what was in 2005 to 2006. In this the performance improved, in this also the performance improved, and in these 2 years the performance improved drastically. In these 2 years the performance has improved drastically, but in which subjects? For which subject? Maths. For maths you can see that earlier 30 marks he scored, while in the other next year he got 60 marks. So we can say that which is that subject in which the performance improved the most? That is maths. In maths the performance has improved the most. You can see from the difference of the height of those 2 bars. Next one is, in which subject has the performance deteriorated? So deteriorated, we can see that here the performance improved, here also improved, here also improved. Here it is deteriorating because earlier that student got 50 marks in English, while in the next year he got lesser than 50. It is around 45 marks, you can say. So while in the next subject Hindi, the performance remained the same. So we can say that which subject has the performance deteriorated? Subject is English. This is how you can check from the height of these bars. Now the fourth part is, in which subject is the performance at par? In which subject is the performance at par? You can see that from all these bars provided to us, which is such a subject? The subject is Hindi. The subject is Hindi. So what is the answer? Hindi. We can say that Hindi is such a subject in which the performance is at par. The performance of the student is at par. You can check it. Hindi. The answer is Hindi. Now we have a brainstorming question, right? What is that question? If we change the position of any of the bars of a bar graph. Now what are we doing? We are just changing the position of any of the bars of a bar graph. Then would it change the information being conveyed? Why? So what do we need to brainstorm here? What do we need to think about is that if we are just changing nothing else but just the position of the bar graph. So if I change the position of maths bars from here to here, and I keep English here while maths bars here, so such a change in the position will it also change the information being conveyed? And give reason for your answer. Why is that so? So this is very easy. Even if we change the position of bars of a bar graph, the information that is conveyed will not change. The values will remain the same, just that the order of the information will change. The order in which the information is conveyed to us, just that order will change, but not the values. Not the values. The values will remain the same. You can see from this example that I've already told you, if we interchange the position of maths and English. So in this just the order will change, but not the values. Not the values. So this is the answer for the brainstorming question. Now we need to try these. We need to first draw an appropriate graph to represent the given information. What is the information that is given to us? We are given some months, and then we are given the number of watches that are sold. So in July, 1000, in August, 1500, September, 1500, October, 2000, November, 2500, December, 1500. We need to draw appropriate graph to represent this given information. So we have already begun from representing these two values, these two tables in x-axis and on the y-axis. So on the x-axis I am writing the months, whatever these months are, and the number of watches sold on the y-axis, 500, 1000, 1500, 2000, 2500. You need to focus on that the gap that you are taking, the difference that you are taking in these number of watches should be the same. The difference should be same. So I'm taking a difference of 500 in every year, right? 500, then 1000, then 1500, 2000, 2500. It depends on what are the values that are provided to us. So that is how much the scale should you be taking. Next is, so we'll start drawing the bar graphs now. How? In the month of first, the month is July, and the number of watches sold 1000. So on July, in this July month, you will increase the height of the bar graph to the value 1000. Similarly, you can do for August to 1500. Similarly for September, October, November and December. So this is very simple to draw. You just need to represent the both of these values on the x and the y axis, and then accordingly you need to write the values having the same scale and then drawing their height corresponding to the given values. So this is how we can represent this information in the form of a bar graph. We have one more. We need to draw an appropriate graph to represent the given information. Now what are we given? We are given children who prefer school A, school B, school C. Okay, children who prefer walking, cycling, and then we are given the schools also. School A, school B, school C. So 40 children in school A, they prefer walking, 45 in school A, cycling, and similarly 55, 25, 15 and 35. Again we will begin. Now we need to, what are we doing? We are actually comparing these two, walking and cycling. Number of students preferring walking and number of students preferring cycling. We are actually going to just compare these two, beginning from writing these two values on the x-axis, on the y-axis. So I'm writing the schools, school A, school B, school C on the x-axis, while the number of children on the y-axis. Now I'm taking the scale as 5 units. Why? Because we are having number of students as 15, 25, 35, 40, 45, 55. So I'm taking number of students in the gap of 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 and similarly so on till 60, because the maximum value is just 55. So I'm taking it till 60. Now how I'm going to begin? I have already denoted that the blue color will be defining number of students that prefer walking, while orange color will be defining the number of students who prefer cycling. Let's begin. So for school A, you can see that 40 for walking, 45 for cycling. So where is the value 40? 40 is here. So I'll be, for the blue color, I'll be corresponding its value to this number 40. While in school A only, for the number of students who prefer cycling, the height will just increase to a little bit till 45. Similarly, you can do for school B, in which the students prefer 55. There are 55 students who prefer walking, while just 25 students who prefer cycling. Similarly, you can draw for school C as well, where there were 50 students preferring walking and 35 preferring cycling. this is how you can make this double bar graph to represent these two datas. So this is what we learned about in this video. We began from defining data, then seeing how we can pictorially represent it. The types of graphs that we studied were pictorial, and then this bar graph, and then the double bar graph. We also tried some of the examples related to this bar graph and double bar graph. Now in the next video lecture, we will be studying about organizing data, how we organize data. We will meet in the next video. Thank you for joining me.